All right, when I took off this electric choke the first time, I took it off. I looked at it and everything, and I didn't know it was messed up at first from the inside. So when I took it off, I looked at it and everything. I plugged it in. I plugged it back in the wire here with the fuse on. Fuse never popped or nothing. I go, oh, good. So it's not that. So I put it back on there, and I was looking all over trying to find some other stuff. And then something just kept telling me this because I tried everything. So when I went back to this again, I opened it up. I go, maybe something's wrong with this. And I opened it up. I took it off and I started taking a look at it. It looked like it was kind of messed up, like someone had hit it before. The top was kind of dented in. So I guess it got hit before and it got slanted. And then the mechanism in there bouncing up and down, ripped up that plastic in there and started arcing out. So it was arcing out inside right there where the gas is at actually. But it would arc out, blow the fuse. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm talking about this TrailMaster XRS 300. I was having some problems with it shorting out. The fuse kept blowing out. I would wiggle all the wire, try to figure out what's going on. I couldn't find no short nowhere. And I replaced the fuse and it seemed to work again a little bit. Later on, another kid ride it and it blow the fuse. And I just couldn't figure out what it was. We got the reservoir tank for the radiator up here. I thought, well, maybe every time that he took off on it, for some reason, every time he came back, the reservoir tank would be knocked over. I'll show you right here. For some reason, every time he took off on it, this is a reservoir tank for the radiator, and it just clips on. See, it comes right off. And it's got like a little slot and it slides right back in there. Pop it back on. And it would be knocked over. I knew it wasn't him doing it because he was the driver. So whoever the passenger was, I guess their feet was reaching way over here, and I guess they're bumping around, riding around. I guess feet must hit that and hit that radiator reservoir off and pop it off and water leak out and stuff. Some of this stuff would be wet because, you know, the water fell out of there that goes in the radiator, and it'd be all over these wires. So I thought maybe it's shorting out these wires. So I checked out all these wires and there was no short. The horn wire came off. The wires seemed good. I tried disconnecting some wires up here, nothing. But no matter what I try, you know, when I got this, I got to use it like maybe, I think I used it like 2 to 3 times at the most I used it. And then it wouldn't work anymore. Well, I actually didn't get it. The boys got it for Christmas. They like it. I mean, we ran around the yard quite a bit and had fun. And we ran it all over the place and kids have fun with it, but we take it out to the flats over there where people go fishing and everything. And you got plenty of room out there to ride these things around. So what's going on, every time we get out to this flat, we be riding around, and that's where you're riding it rough, right? And everything bouncing around, hopping all over the place. Well, that's when we started having problems with it. We went out there once, and it kind of shorted out the first time, a couple of times, and then it started working good after that, and we ran it all the rest of the day. Came back home, we went out there a different weekend. And the reason I'm explaining this, because this is an important part of it, because otherwise, what I found out was wrong with it, you would never think, well, at least I never would have thought that. That's why it took me a little bit longer to find out what the problem was. But because it started working, right? I mean, I thought, well, maybe it was that. You know, the wires are dry, it's running good now. Yeah. So we go right around. We went back another weekend, right around again. We were having fun again. Then my nephew got on it, the same one. He got on and started driving around and having fun. Next thing you know, blowing in a fuse, and I have to go over there and put a fuse. And then I ran out of fuses. What I started using, cutting strips of a can and cutting real thin, like the size of a fuse. And I'd put it on that fuse like that, right? And I'd be able to drive it, and then it started working. So like, okay, I'm trying to figure out, well, maybe I took the water out of them wires, right? So maybe it's working now. But believe it or not, it was not that either. Because finally, it wouldn't work at all. It started messing up more and more. So what I did was put a thicker strip aluminum can on there, on that fuse that had popped. And now it stayed on and wouldn't blow at all. Little nephew's like, Uncle, you drive it because it always goes off. It always messes up when I drive it for some reason. I go, I know it's nothing to do with you. I mean, something's wrong with it. You know, I'm trying to explain to them. I didn't want to feel bad because I knew it wasn't him, and there's something obviously happening. So I drove around all over, and we're roughhousing all over the place with it and everything. And then we get to back to a certain area where we're all parked hanging out. And I told him go ahead and drive it. He gets on, and he takes off, and I did like 4 or 5 feet, man. Boom! It blows the fuse. After that, they didn't want to come back on at all no more. And then the winter came, and it's been sitting there forever. And good weather finally come by, so I could start working on it, checking it out. So I started finding out what's causing this short. I looked up YouTube videos. Of course, you're watching one here, but I looked up YouTube videos, and I could not find anybody can find where the short is when they're having trouble with the tube. So if anybody having this kind of trouble and they come look at this video, maybe this will help them. Because if I would have seen a video like this, I would have checked that. But I found out what it was. I couldn't believe that I checked every single wire, and the last one I checked was the one that was causing the short, and it wasn't the wire itself, it was the actual component itself that was causing the short inside the component. I'm going to show you right here. This is all kind of beat up. I got to fix and stuff, but it's pretty. I mean, it runs good. It runs like new once the thing's running, but like I said, it was messed up. So I still got to buy the piece for it, but I figured it out, so I figured I'd go ahead and make the video already. I mean, I already turned it on and works and everything. Okay, to get to all the wires okay, let me show you where the fuse is first. On this go-kart right here, it's a TrailMaster. If you go to the back end, you got this cover right here. What you do is you're gonna pull this cover off. There's 2 Phillips screws there. You pull it off, they're long Phillips screws. You pull it off, you got all the wires here, and you got the fuse located in here. This one's a different fuse holder because, like I said, I had put a bunch of I was using an aluminum can to put little strips across the burnt fuse because I was out there at the flats and wasn't even close to a place to buy fuses. So the last one I put it way too thick where it never did pop, where it never did melt that piece of aluminum can. And what it did was just melt all the adapter together. It was all melted together, so I had to buy this. This is actually for a boat, but it works pretty good. I mean, it's the same thing actually. It's just waterproof for your fuse. But anyway, here's what I recommend you doing. If you can't find out what's causing the short, disconnect every single wire, every single piece. If you think you got like a cut in one of these wires somewhere, and you shouldn't, not if it's been cased in, you know, and not bothered at all, but you never know. But you can always check other wires. It might be, like I said, I thought, well, maybe it was the wires that belong to the lights or the radiator, temperature gauge, or the power brakes. You know, wires all over this thing. I checked all those wires, and I kept popping the fuse, man, and that's why I was getting mad, because I was like, man, I'm running out of fuses. I went through, I think, like maybe 15, 20 fuses. But then I finally, like, man, I've heard somebody say disconnect everything at first, you know, so that's why I went ahead and disconnected everything, so I stopped popping fuses. Well, you disconnect everything that's coming off this box that goes to all the components on this go-kart, and then you plug them in one by one while you leave the fuse connected together though, and then you start plugging them in one by one. And when you plug them in one by one, if the fuse pops, you know it's that wire right there. Okay, so what I did to make this easier, because there's a lot of wires here, man, I ain't gonna lie. So to make this easier, what I did, see how it says 3, 4, 2. I numbered all the wires. I numbered all the wires both sides when I pull them apart, 2 and 2. See, that way when I go put them back together later, I know where they go. Trying to put that on there one hand because I'm holding the camera. That's one of the craziest things. It's hard to do. And then look at this, came out of there, man. See, that's what I'm saying. I'll put that on in a minute here. But I went through all the wires, checked everything, disconnected this, which I didn't know what it was at first. Like I said, I disconnected everything. So I disconnected this. Let me bring you over here right quick. This right here is called an electric choke for the carburetor. And I disconnected that. I inspected the wires. The wires are like 100% perfect looking. Nothing wrong with these wires at all. I inspected the wires real good. So in my mind, I know it ain't that. So and then I start doing all these wires, plug them all in little by little by little by little. Actually, I did all of this first, and I checked this last. Well, no, actually, I did check the wire first and everything. It looked good and everything, you know. But I didn't plug it in to see if it'll pop the fuse, because I didn't think it was that, and it was actually that right there. It was actually that electric choke for the carburetor. So I checked the wires, looked good, right? So I didn't even bother plugging it in, because I was not gonna blow the fuse. I don't see no wires touching, no short, nothing, right? So I went in and started doing all these wires, checking all these wires, connect them one by one. No fuse blown, no fuse blown, no fuse blown. I keep going. It's taking forever. I checked every wire. I even went under the go-kart, checked everywhere. I couldn't find nothing. And and then I finally said, you know what? This is the only thing left, man. I mean, everything else I can see. I can see the horns. I can see the horn connection where the wires go. I can see more or less where everything goes. But this was catching my eye for some reason. This electric choke, which I didn't know what it was at first. Now I know. I still gotta buy it. It's like $8-9. But I rigged it up where it turns on and everything. It just won't take off because it bogs down. But before it was just blowing the fuse every single time. Well, anyway, I pulled this off, man. And you'd be surprised, because I would have never thought it was that. You got a piece shorting out right there inside the carburetor. And remember, there's gas going through there. So there's a piece in there that can mess up and short out. And it's arcing out all the time, bad enough to where I blew out like 10-15 fuses. So lucky nothing else happened there. But let me show you what that piece looks like. Alright, this is the electric choke right here. There's one Phillips screw. And I'm gonna show you the inside. I'm gonna take off that little piece, and I'm gonna do not lose your screw or any pieces, man. Even if you're trying to make a video. The screw comes off, then you got this adapter that holds it down. And then this just pops right off. Like that. The piece that's messed up is in here. See if I can get it out. Yeah, got it. I got my stuff flying away over here. The TrailMaster right there. Alright, let me get on here and show you what happened here, man. Okay, when you took it off, this is the tape I put in there. When you first take it off, this will hold it in. You're gonna have like a little clip here. It slides in there like that. And you put the screw in there. You screw it in and you hold it onto the top of the carburetor there. What happened was after I put it in there, like I said, I inspected all these wires and all the wires are good, nothing wrong with this. So I was like, okay, good to go, it can't be that. Well, I was wrong about that. After checking all the wires, the only thing I could think, I mean, there's other things I can look at too that are connected that got inside parts, but like this is the thing that's sticking up there in the back and just looking at me the whole time. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take that off and see. Maybe that piece is messed up, is shorting inside or something. So what I did, I pulled it, I took this off, I pulled it off and I looked at it and I'm like, what is this anyway? I don't know. It's an electric choke, I know now. But you see there's a piece of steel in here. You're not supposed to see that steel there. That's supposed to be coated with plastic. And then this is the needle that goes in the choke. And then with a spring, it's held together. With a spring, it's held together. And when it's working, that's how it works up and down like that. And of course, the spring's hooked to this. On the other side, the spring is hooked to that. It's supposed to be a plastic there. And I guess when it bounces up and down like that, that's how it's doing the doing the choke, you know, working the choke. Somehow this piece got wore out. That plastic piece got messed up. This was all burnt in there. It was all arced out. The plastic piece was melted. And so I ended up taking this apart. It unscrews actually. I was trying all different ways to take it. I didn't know how to take it apart. I was like, did it pop out? Did it pull out? I finally tried unscrewing it and I unscrewed it, see? When I unscrewed it, you won't see it right now because I already did it, but I'll put a picture right here. I'll put a picture right here. Anyway, this is supposed to be coated with plastic and a spring on here. And then a spring connects into here. The needle drops in here. The spring connects to this side, and it pops. You drop it in here, and you hook the other side of the spring onto here, and so it'll be springing like that. But this will be coated with plastic. I guess this wore out, and they got a piece of metal in there. Well, since this wore out, and that piece of metal was arcing out to this and causing a short, so every time I touch this metal that's touching the carburetor, it was shorted out and blow the fuse. So it was blowing the fuse like crazy. So just to test it out, what I did, I got a piece of tape. Of course, it already fell off, as you can see. And I put it on there like that, just to try to hold that needle up so I could try something, see if it works. And then I stuck the tape in there to hold it together. I did it like that. Then I put it back in there. And of course, this was just to try it because to make sure that's what the short was, because there's no way, you know, you're gonna be able to fix it like that. And this is like very fine thread, so to get it back in there, it's hard to screw that sucker in there, man. So you keep thinking you're screwing it in there, and you don't got it in there straight. So it's very hard to screw in there. So I suppose I could have probably maybe took it apart and worked on it, but the thing is, I tried. But like I said, I didn't know how to take it apart, so I was having trouble. So I finally got it off. See, it actually goes something like that with a spring on it. And there's the choke. So this does got a dent here, so that means whoever had it before must have hit it with something, because it was a little bit like kind of crooked. So I'm thinking that's what caused this piece to wear out, and it shorted it out, was blowing all the fuses. So now the go-kart turns on easy, real good. So I'm all happy. So I'm gonna go buy the piece. I looked it up, about like 7 something, some places, $10 somewhere else. But it's not expensive. It's very cheap. So we'll be back on the road pretty soon here. So if I was able to help you out, man, I'm glad, because I was mad, man. Yeah, I looked up some videos on YouTube, and there's actually a bunch of people asking about something like this situation. I don't know if they're in the same situation or not. They were asking about stuff like this, where they were having a short and they can't find it, and they looked at everything and they followed the instructions to unplug every single wire, unplug one by one, and see if that pops the fuse, and you can find the short that way. Well, there's some people who said they did every single wire and there's no short. They cannot figure out what's causing the short, because it's not popping it. But like I said, you might want to check your electric choke for the carburetor, because like I said, when it first happened and I put a new fuse, we were able to ride around for another hour or so and have fun. And till it finally popped again, and I put another fuse. You know, I tried wiggling some wire and stuff. Like I said, I thought it was that wire getting wet up front, but it wasn't. There's a ladybug right here. Oh, it flew away. I was gonna blow it and flew away. There it goes. Anyway, so I would have never thought of this, because like I said, I thought it was like a broken wire somewhere, because it popped the fuse, you know, it popped it more than once. But then when it did start working, it's like, you know, you move the wire around some wires, and okay, or the wire dried up, they're not wet no more, now it's working. I mean, that's what you're thinking in your mind, at least I was. But then we went out again, we had the trouble again, and then it wouldn't turn on at all no more. And I brought it home, washed it all down. Winter hit, so we really didn't get to. Well, I could have worked on it, but I didn't want to work on it in the cold. I ain't got no garage. So finally now I'm working on it, and I figured it out, man. I'm happy because it's gonna be back. We had some fun with this thing, man. And my nephew, we happy to know it's nothing to do with him, because he's like, why me all the time? Why me? And I feel bad because, like I said, I gave him, I'll ride with him, nothing. And then as soon as he took over, he went about 5 feet, boom, killed it again. And then wouldn't work no more after that. He goes, I told you always when I do it. And I was like, it's not you, do something wrong with this. But I got it figured out now, so that's good. I'm gonna get this, and I hope I can help you out with this. Remember, the electric choke goes on top of the carburetor right there, and like I said, it's at the main part you gotta remember, because a lot of people say they checked every wire and nothing popped. There's nothing wrong with it. They don't know what's popping the fuse, what's causing the fuse to pop. But like I said, I drove around for an hour or so after I put the fuse on, and it never popped. So I would have never thought it was this. We're looking for broken wires. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. So we're looking for broken wires everywhere, nowhere to find broken wires. And of course, this is just sitting on top of your carburetor. So when you look at the wires, you can see them clear. So I never thought of plugging that in, because I'm plugging in all the other stuff where I see where there's rust and everything, all the other wires running by. So got to be one of them wires that probably all busted up or something. But no, it wasn't. It was actually something that was very secure, it looked like. But at least now I got it going. I hope I could help you out with this. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you don't like my channel, subscribe anyway, help me out. I get paid. You can subscribe and you don't have to watch my stuff, but if I helped you, hey, give me a subscription at least, help me out, man. Just trying to make the money by helping others. That's what it is. That's what all the YouTubers do. You make a video, they watch your videos, YouTube pays them. But yeah, man, this is, like I said, do this, man. Check this if you're having trouble. Cause like I said, many people said, we tried everything, nothing going out, nothing blowing out. Well, I'm assuming if the same thing happened to them, it's happening to them, what's happening to me. This electric choke messed all up inside, and it's rubbing, it's arcing out, and it's shorting out, blowing the fuse. And then I guess when moving the go-kart a little bit here and there, that needle probably, actually that bushing probably bounces around a little bit in there, or moves around somehow a little bit, and then not touching that metal part no more, so it's not popping it, so it lets you drive it some more. And so you're driving it, and then when it pops again, well, you're thinking some wire is arcing out somewhere. And the whole time it's probably coming from, just like me right here, this little piece. But like I said, it wasn't that bad. It said $8, $9, so I'm gonna go buy me one, put it on there. It does turn on, I turned it on, but I cannot move it. I'll be boom, boom, boom. I can like rev it up slowly, and if I like barely put it together, it'll start creeping forward. But if I try to go fast, it just kill, because I don't got the choke or nothing in there. So it's like boom, and it dies out. But man, it's working now. The boys will be happy again, because they loved it, man, but it's been sitting here since winter hit. But it's gonna be back on the road, man. These actually come with titles. This is the TrailMaster, and this one is the 300 XRS. And it comes with title. You're supposed to register them and everything. Yeah. So I'm gonna put this back on right now. Like this, like I said, this is the piece that's messed up. See, you see that metal piece? That's supposed to be coated with plastic. Now I was gonna try to build it up with plastic, melt some plastic, try to build it up and put that spring on there, but that spring is so fine that it literally broke just trying to mess with it. And plus, that's not a good idea. It's better just to replace it, especially after I've seen it's only like $10 for that thing. Just buy that, replace it, and you're good to go. So this will be back on the road running like crazy. Remember, cover all your wires and stuff back up when you're done. Make sure, if you're going through this process, make sure you number all of them, because I didn't number them at first. I ain't gonna lie. I just started pulling them apart. Okay, it's right here, it's right there, right there. I remember where it goes. But by the time you know, you're moving so many wires and they're all going all over the place. And most of the connections are different, but some of the connections are the same. And then you're like, well, where did this come from? So now you're wondering, oh my God, what happened? I messed up. See, this one right here fell off of here right now. I'm gonna have to put this one, well, earlier when I was showing you. I'll put this one in a minute here. I'll fix that. This is good to go, and we'll be having fun with it again. Thank y'all for watching my video. Later. I do got a video with a bunch of vultures. They come in my yard all the time. If I throw food out there, like old food out there, they'll come on my yard. There's a bunch of vultures out there. But anyway, we get a bunch of chickens, roosters, hens, whatever the hell you want to call them. We get those too. And I put a video of that later on today or tomorrow. But the vulture one I put the other day, so you want to go back and look at it in my channel. Go back to my channel and look at the vultures. They're pretty neat. I got black vultures and turkey vultures. But they're always up on that tower over there. But they come over here and eat. And the roosters and chickens, I'm gonna put those videos too. This is actually a pretty good go-kart. Put it back together, and then when I get out to the flats, I'll give you some videos of doing some crazy stuff out there with it, man. I appreciate y'all watching my video. Give me a thumbs up if you would.